Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Zelda II, The Resurrection of Ganon, a fan-made hack of Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. We have a all-new dungeon here in this hack. It's the North Palace. It's the palace where Zelda was sleeping in the base game. But they turned it into an extra palace to make a place, I guess, for the final magic container. And then also to have a resting place for the flute, the final item that we need in the game. So that flute will be able to remove the river monster from two places in the overworld, going to the Great Palace and then actually on the sprite where the Great Palace is. So it's necessary for us to pick up that item. Other things we're picking up in this dungeon are all 6 of those rubies there. They're worth 1,000 experience each, so great way to level up any last ability that you haven't maxed out. We don't need to get them all, because as you can see, just one rupee will max my life out. But I'm gonna get them all just for completionist's sake. Just like how I didn't have to get that point bag in Palace number 2 in the last episode, but I just want to get it for, to completion's sake, show things off. So I guess it'd also be good too, because the more experience we have on our way to the Great Palace, the more likely we are that inside the Great Palace or on the way to the Great Palace that we will hit a goal and be able to use it to refill either a life or a magic on the way there. And also give us 1-up, because whenever you gain a level in a stat that you've already maxed to level 8, and the bonus is it gives you a 1-up. That's the only bonus you get from basically doing the attack. You do life or magic, you get a full bar. So if you notice, when you level up, whatever stat you level up, it'll fill all the way back up. So you'll see that when I get this life level up here, it will fill up my life meter. There we go. So 4 more of them jewels to go, so we'll be 75% of the way, a little more than 75% of the way to a refill and a 1-up. Turn around, get back to the elevator, head on down. Over to the right, we're gonna go get some more jewels, basically. Basically, this is like a 3-tier, 3-level dungeon. And basically, on each side is where one of the rubies are. 1,000-point rubies. That was not a good fight against that iron knuckle. Should use the guard spell. Looking very foolish here. But I got the red pot there, so that is nice. And some of those statues have red pots in them, others have nothing. But one of those statues at the very bottom is the way forward. It's another false wall. And I guess you're supposed to decide that by your clue to that is, remember that you got some clues saying that there's great wealth in the North Palace, and in the same town that we got that clue, we were also told that Barba, the dragon, lives. So you're thinking, well, if you could go through this normally, you wouldn't find the boss. So it must let you know that there's something else somewhere in this palace. So to the left is going to be a dead end. Actually, it's going to take us to where the flute was, but we got to get the flute. You got to go around to get it. I'm going to take that guy out because I have the resources to do it now, and show it off then too, so you know where I'm coming from later. All the point bags here have been replaced. Even the enemies now drop rupees, but they're still with the normal value of point bags. So to the right is actually going further deeper into the dungeon, or you want to go. But we're looping around, we're going to the left here because it's going to take us around. We're going to go all the way left, and then I'll take an elevator up, and that'll get us to that flute, to the flute in that room that I showed you. That had the ruby way up top. The dragon heads, like I said, there's usually only 2 or 3, so if you don't take care of any of them, it looks like they just keep spawning, but I say once you defeat one, then you notice that that they're not infinite spawning. That Iron Knuckle must have hurt his foot. And here we have kind of a rare guy. Silver Iron Knuckle. He's not the only one in the game. If we would have went down, if we would have missed the jump going to the magic container in the 3-Eye Rock Palace, and we had to go loop around, get back to the elevator. If you go that way, there's 2 silver Iron Knuckles there. So he's not the only one in the game, but he's definitely rare. Now, we got another rupee here. There's another one in the room to the right, and it was really high up. The only way to get that one is we're going to have to fall from the ceiling, from the floor above, through the ceiling to get it. You can't get those rupees as a fairy, because they're like point bags. You have to stab them with your sword to pick them up. So I'm going to fall down. You'll see there's it's an invisible hole, but you'll see it where it is in the next room. Falling down that hole will take us, like I said, to where that ruby is, that 1,000 points. I don't really need the jump spell here to get through this stuff, but I'm just doing this for safety. Look. Was I playing a little dangerous there by downward stabbing, because there's rocks there that are over the bridge. You notice that they are blocked or crack if you hit them with the power glove. So you see where that skeleton just basically fell down the hole. So that's our clue that there's a hole there. We fall down that hole, and we get another ruby. Actually, we get 2 more yet. So actually, we'll get a refill actually in the palace. Unfortunately, got to use a little bit more magic here. And these enemies will respawn, but it shouldn't give us too much problem. Just like I said, be patient with the bots. Let them hop down into the lava. Not a very smart move there, bot. Such a deadly enemy, but it'd be so dumb. But like a lot of these games, the biggest thing is when you're impatient, you make mistakes. Sometimes you're just rushing and you make jumps too early, or you don't scout ahead, and that's when those bots cause problems. Got some magic point, that's never a problem. A magic jar. I think I'm close to a magic refill here soon. This guy's gonna fall down the hole again. Whee! It's a small hole though, so we just have to one tile, just jump across. Don't need to jump magic. And we get the flute. And hey, that little wolf guy shows that there's another false wall here. So that's another clue that there's false walls in this dungeon. So putting all those clues together basically take you to the boss and the final magic container. Get another magic level up here. Get a 1 up, fill our magic meter up. And this is that room with the elevator coming up. We defeated that Iron Knuckle earlier. Now just head down and then head to the right through that key door and continue on our way to basically to the end of the palace. Another key. That's why we needed to get that magic key in the island palace. There's no keys here. I don't think that keys transfer over from one palace to another. I think that's the way the game prevents you from maybe soft locking yourself. I never tried it in this game or the base game. If you like go to one palace and get a key in it and then go to a different palace before you use it. I mean, you could do that in the first Zelda game, but then again they had keys were buyable in that game from shops. So even if you did take a key out of the dungeon, you wouldn't soft lock yourself because you can always buy a key from a merchant on the outside. Zelda 3, the Link to the Past, that one keys didn't transfer over from one dungeon to another. So my guess is that they probably have it coded that they wouldn't transfer from dungeon to dungeon here because you can't buy keys in this game. Nintendo's tends to be a very good programmer of games. I mean, it's not that the games are totally bug-free. You know, there's a bug someone's going to find in the street, like the speedrunning community, to make things go faster, but for the most part, they're programmed pretty well. They have a pretty good reputation of testing the games out pretty thoroughly and preventing stuff like soft locking from happening. Soft lock is basically where you do something in the game that prevents you from advancing and moving on. A lot of older games had issues with that, especially like some point and click adventure games. You would need an item, and if you didn't pick up that item, or you got the item and threw it away, you'd be stuck. I think it was Return to the Zork had one. If you did something illegal, the guy would come and steal your entire inventory, including any items you might need to win the game. You couldn't get it back. My cousin had the game when I was in elementary school, and this was before computers were a big thing. But his mother worked in Boscov's and worked in the computer department. So like he had a bunch of knowledge on computers when like nobody really knew anything about like computers. Back when we actually started getting computer classes in grade school. I was in 7th grade, I believe. So it was like 93. We have Oregon Trail and floppy disk, and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. And then we had a Sozery simulator game. Of course, at that age, we were really dumb and we never were good at the Sozery game. Not that good at Oregon Trail either, but sometimes some class managed to finish it off. I was not one of them, so I was not very good at any of those games. Like I said, the Sozery was naturally would be terrible at it. I didn't really like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. That seemed to be like a really popular game among some of my peers. Pretty interesting TV show too, a little game show. Used to watch it on PBS, a public broadcasting station, after school. Still hear a little jig in my head, you know, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? So, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube somewhere if you looked it up. But we don't you can do that later after you finish watching this video. Don't stop watching it. Bub needs you. And Bub needs to find the Resurrect spell. That's the final thing before we can head to the Great Palace. We have all the things needed to get to the Great Palace, but it'd be a shame to get to the Great Palace and not have the Resurrect spell that we need to resurrect Ganon and defeat him again and lift the curse on the land. Resurrect spell takes the place of the Thunder spell, and it is in the same place as in the base game. It's in Old Kasuto, which, like the base game, is basically a ruined city or Room Village, and it's filled with a bunch of ghosts. They wouldn't be able to see if we didn't have the cross, but we got that back in the Maze Island Palace. So here's the first of our river devils we gotta get rid of. Got a little scenario room here to go through. Just like in the base game, there's going to be a scenario room to the lower right, pot area. That's where we'll basically end the episode. First, we're going to go with that resurrection spell. Oof. Yep, here we go. This is where we'll end the episode. And we'll get the pot then. But first, let's go get the resurrect spell. They said that the lava flows from those demons' mouths. So I guess that's why that area looks like lava or dried lava. And I prevented me from reading the rest of this text, so let's see what it says. They say a dark and malicious spirit, which is obviously Ganon's, resides within the great temple. Yep, that's why we need the resurrect spell to turn that spirit corporal, and then we can defeat it. Let's get that resurrect spell right now. As I said, the resurrect spell takes the place of the thunder spell in the base game. And spoiler, basically the way it works, it basically just works like the thunder spell in the base game. The final boss will be like the Thunderbird. It's invincible until you cast thunder on it in the base game. Well, it'll basically be just the spirit of Ganon floating around that's invulnerable until you cast the resurrect spell on it. So, neat little way that they kept things the same but put their own spin on it. You know, an invulnerable boss until hit with a certain magic. It goes with the whole plot of the game. So we got a bunch of these empty houses here, but only one or two of them have a message in them. So I just run around hitting the B button, hoping to get the message to prompt. But at this point in the game, you know, you're basically at the end. There's nothing really else to do. There's nothing really the game can tell you. So, but I can still tell you some stuff, which is why I'm here giving advice. And the best piece of advice is to know where the encounter zones are. They're in the same place as the base game, on our way to the Great Temple. Because those encounter zones are really difficult. Well, they're going to require a lot of magic, because we need the jump spell to get across some of the hits in them. There's lizard men in there to fight, so they can steal your health away. And then there's a bunch of these eyes floating around that can knock you into the pit. Are they ghosts? I won't stay to find out. But you stayed you stayed long enough to write that whole message on the wall. And so you basically need like the spell to turn those ghosts into blobs to make it kind of safe. So it's much easier to just get into a random encounter on those encounter zones and skip over them. I showed that off on the way back from Dunuri Town, where we got the upward stab. Fast spell, the dash spell. Just get that one encounter zone with the lizard men in it. Yeah, looks like this is the end of the town here. And we're almost at the end of the road in this episode. So, this is what these encounter zones look like. Use the spell, and that turns all those little eyes into blobs. Just gotta avoid that blue mace chucking lizard there. Fill up our life here, our life spell, and fill up our magic with the magic pot. And now we're ready to be on our way to the Great Temple. So hope to see you back there in the next episode, the final episode of Zelda II: The Resurrection of Ganon. Thanks for following along. Bye.